Let's get started acting crazy. Oh baby, what's happening? Oh my love, what I'm doing. You want games? Well, I'm not playing. Let me know if you want to leave. Oh baby, please don't call me with your lie. I don't want to hear it, baby. No, no, but it's you. I'm sorry that you're feeling this way. You know I'm not the blame. No, 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 no. But that you keeps on running and playing those simple games. Oh, leaving me in the street and me. No, 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 no. Let me know. But baby, please stop calling me with your love. You call me and call me, but that you don't really It's a lot of pain. I don't ever want to leave. Leaving me, oh, can't let go, mistreating me. No, 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 let me know. Baby, please just stop calling me with your that you want to leave me. Oh, yeah. Oh, running from me. I don't understand it, 'cause you love me.
And we're back on another episode of Not Live B2B Jam Session, aka Unleashing the Future of Work with your friend and homie, Mr. Future of Work, Tim Szilard. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today I have a really special guest with me that I'm super excited to be speaking with about a topic I'm really passionate about. I don't know if some of you know, but I'm actually a really big on computer science and an AI nut. I study it. I've worked in roles in the past that actually required me to understand computer science. And I think it's probably one of the most important fields of study. But more importantly, I'm talking to someone that is not only a computer science, but he's an educator at heart in terms of what he loves to do. And fundamentally, how he serves students and really helping them develop their computer science knowledge and background. So super excited to be going in on today's guest about his background, you know, how he got into doing the work that he does. And more importantly, what you can learn from him. And more importantly, what is the future of the tech industry, or why is tech so important? And fundamentally, you know, what can you do to really get started in this area? So with that said, you know, if you're tuning in, depending on where you're tuning in from, let me know where you're tuning in from. What's going on with you? Are you having fun? Where you at right now? How's your Friday going? It's Friday. It's pretty awesome. What's going on? Let us know in the comments, and we'll shout you out, and we'll show you some love actually as well. And with that said, you know, I'm so excited to have my friend, Mr. Szilard Vajda, on the show, and just to talk with him a little bit about his background and, you know, how he got started to doing the work that he does. With that said, let's go ahead and bring him on. How's it going, Szilard?
Hi, thank you very much, Tim, for having me on your podcast.
Oh, dude, no, thank you so much for joining. You know, my co-founder, Taman, was like, hey, you have to have our former professor on the podcast. I was like, of course. Let's go ahead and bring him on. You know, how are you doing today? Happy Friday, man.
I'm good. Thank you very much. It's Friday, and we are lucky, at least in computer science. Usually, computer scientists, professors, they don't teach on Fridays, so it's really great.
Yeah,
I'm really happy.
Well, how have you all adjusted and shifted to things? Given everything that's happened with COVID-19, in many parts of the country, we're still going through COVID-19. How has adapting been like in terms of your teaching style and all of that?
Yeah, I think it's quite, at least for computer scientists, it's really easy. Why it's easy? Because normally we work with computers. So pretty much all these software technologies, which are considered for online educations, we are familiar with them, or at least we know how to use them, or at least we know more a bit how to use them than somebody who is teaching in history or I don't know, some other classes.
Yeah. It's so true, and it's so important. I would love to ask you, how did you get started in this space? Because a lot of people may not know this, because some people may be hearing of you for the first time, or may not be familiar with the work that Central Washington University does. But you're actually a doctor. You're a whole doctor. You actually have your PhD. And very few people have their PhD. At what point in your journey, in terms of being an educator at heart, fundamentally, did you realize you wanted to go into this discipline?
Wow, guys, as you might realize already from my accent, so I'm not American, I'm European, I'm Hungarian, and pretty much English is not my strong suit. However, I managed to have a conversation, as you can see, but definitely I speak other languages, but doesn't really matter. So normally when I started computer science, that was quite a while ago. It was really the early 90s. Okay. So at that time, we really just getting started with computers and so on and so on. And I have to tell you honestly, till when I was 14, I haven't seen a computer at all. So right now, I imagine that kids, 3-year-old kids, or even younger kids, they already have access to a tablet or something. So I was not even aware. But what I liked really much mathematics. So all this type of numbers, how to deal with numbers, how to solve problems. And after that, I got this opportunity to end up in a very important high school. So I started computer science in high school.
Wow.
But contrary what we can see here in US, so there is no specialized computer science schools here. So students, they get access to computer science more in university, and I think that's too late. Of course, they're gonna get access to some basic knowledge about computer science earlier, so they know how to use a browser and so on and so on. But about really theoretical aspects of computer science, they don't get familiar until they don't reach the university, and I think that's late. Pretty much, just to give you an idea to compare. So when I ended up in the university, I was not taught anything new, because I knew everything from high school. So it was that strong, that powerful, that school. Okay, so pretty much at that time it was like this. And I would say that those guys who would like to pursue computer science as their career goal, they should start early. It's pretty much the same as with these athletes, right? The earlier you start, the more chances you will have to win the game. So pretty much the same thing here.
Yeah, and I love that, Professor, and I think it's such a powerful takeaway for those who are interested in getting to the tech industry, or really getting deep, doing a deep dive in the computer science space. Because even for me, growing up, I've always been interested in computers, but a lot of people think that computer science is just about computers, but it's actually much more about language. It's more about reading, being able to put transcripts together, form syntax. Like it's actually much more of a being able to communicate with computers, more and less about the hardware and things like that. I want to ask you, because you're multilingual, right? And a lot of people don't know that actually helps with being able to program. How do you encourage people to take that first leap of faith into the space? If they're scared.
So that's usually quite a misunderstanding. People, they come to the universities there. That's what we are seeing, that they're coming here because computer science is cool compared to other programs and whatnot. And after that, after the first courses, introductory courses in computer science, they realize quite early that it's not exactly just that I have a computer and I know how to play a game. So pretty much what you just mentioned, that all these languages are very, very important, and how you communicate with those computers, that's the most important. It's not just I can click here and there and I can shoot some enemies on whatever shooter game. That is way beyond that. So students, they realize quite early that it's pretty much computer science is not about that part, okay? But in order to attract students, that's what they can read in every brochure, that, okay, all these gaming and so on and so on. And after that, it's not about gaming. Just to give you an example, usually when we started computer science, I had a professor, and the professor told me that, my friend, play with that game which you are building. And that's why I'm not playing games at all. I've never played a game. And because gaming in the gaming business is very, very difficult, okay? And not everybody, most probably 0.1% will end up in the gaming business, so to build games. But definitely it's something which attracts students. However, languages and how we can get into that, definitely by trial and error. So you have to build your own small softwares, a Hello World application, another Hello World application, and so on and so on. And eventually you will start building more complex applications and so on and so on. About languages, you asked about languages. So if I'm considering the programming languages, so I speak around 12, 13 languages, okay? And some of them, they are not used at all anymore. So that's why I'm saying I'm not very, very, I'm not clinging to all these languages. So normally, if you know the concept of these languages, because pretty much they are similar, okay? In syntax, they might change a bit, but at the end of the day, it's just how you understand the language, and after that, you can easily learn a new one.
It's so, and I love that you're sharing this, because so many, I grew up not having really the mentorship on, like I never got this insights at all. I would love for you to share a little bit more about the work that is being done in Central Washington, and being led by you and faculty and staff, and really encouraging that no matter what your background is, whether you're male, female, whatever your background is, that if you come to the university, we'll help you, we'll support you. What are you all doing to really make people feel confident in pursuing a career path in this space?
Yeah, so normally, at least at Central Washington University, we are offering this computer science program for our students. It's a 4-year program, and once you graduate, you will end up with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. And it's quite a powerful degree, because many of our students, they end up in on the west side, I mean over the mountain in Seattle, working for companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and so on and so forth. Right now, about the population, you mentioned that definitely we do not care where you are coming from. And some students, they come from computer science background. Some other students, they don't come from computer science background at all. And we can see that if you work properly, you can be successful no matter what. However, it's quite obvious, the more math you know, the more computer science knowledge you have, prior computer science knowledge you have, the easier it's going to be. But it's not impossible at all. And you mentioned about background and race and whatever, and gender. It's true, we have less female students, but the good news I can give you, I think I've been here for 4 years or 5 years, and in 3 of these years, the first student who graduated was so the highest GPA achieved by a student in computer science was they were females.
Wow.
So
Wow.
they do better. They're very good. Okay, and all of them they work on the west side, and apparently these days there is a high demand for in order to create this inclusive environment. The female students they are very uh, in high demand these days. So
Wow.
what I can suggest, more students they should join, because normally I think there is a perception, and that's I asked my students that and female students, and they are telling me that usually they are there is a perception in the society that mathematics and computer science is not for women,
Mm.
and that's not true at all. I
Mm.
think, and as I just told you, in 2-3 years, I think we had the best GPA of our student was a female. So
Wow.
it's possible. It's just work and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
normal thinking, right? So
Yeah.
that's all.
And go ladies. And I mean, some of the greatest computer scientists of our lifetime are women. I mean, Grace Hopper.
Yeah, and yeah. So normally you can see. I have, for example, colleagues from university colleagues. Okay, former university colleagues, and right now they are teaching in different universities in Europe. So it's possible.
Wow. You know,
It's just
Doctor,
you want to.
100%, Doctor. Doctor, I would love to ask you, what are some of the areas that for you as a professor are exciting for you, for students to start learning about? There's so much going on in the tech industry right now, from the growth of AI and machine learning to the applications of blockchain technology, to even new languages being developed by companies such as Apple with the Swift programming language. What excites you as a professor who's teaching and grooming the next generation of students right now?
So right now there are two approaches in how we should teach students, or how we should introduce people to computer science.
Mm.
So either is this rather new wave, which is claiming that they don't have to know everything. Let's just go like in a boot camp. We teach you something, and after that you can go and develop software, and
Wow.
it's possible, okay. But the problem is, and you will do most probably you will perform very well in that particular field. But if I'm taking you out from that very narrow environment, you're gonna struggle because you don't have the background knowledge, and that's the second possibility. Rather than going for a boot camp, you go for a school where the information is coming in a structured way. So normally all these universities, colleges, whatnot, they gonna build the knowledge step by step, and they're gonna give you a more global view about computer science, which involves logic, which involves a bit of math, which involves a bit of programming languages, how those programming languages work, what does it mean a compiler, mean technologies, algorithms, and so on and so on. But definitely that's more costly money-wise and also time-wise, right? Because a college will cost you 2 years if it's a community college, or 4 years if you are doing you want a university degree. So those are the things which you have to put in the balance. But both of them they can work. But of course, if you go for this college degree or university degree, the knowledge will be more in depth. So that's what I say about where you should start. Definitely, you should start with building some small programs. Right now, the language can be different. As we can see nowadays, we have all these machine learning, and pretty much right now, for machine learning, Python is the language. So I can just tell you that Python was not existing at all when I started. So all these languages, they come and go. Some they might be more stable, but mainly languages. Of course, Python is not going to go away in the next 5 years.
Mm.
But for example, languages such as Rust and Go might overthrow Python, possibly. I don't know. There's always what kind of support is behind the language, how easy is to program in that language, how efficient is it to program in that language, how the code which is going to be generated by that language is going to run. But I can see that in a few years or 10 years, most probably Python is going to be forgotten. Maybe not, but I'm just saying. So when students are asking me, Professor, what kind of language should I learn? I'm saying, I don't care. Whatever language you need in order to solve your problem. So that's all.
I love that mindset, Professor. I love that mindset because it encourages them to be open to interpretation and learn on their own 2 feet.
And resources are quite abundant on the internet. And that's good and that's bad as well, because normally when I started there was no that many resources on the internet. Therefore we had to build it by ourselves. So that's why we have a better understanding how things are working.
Wow.
However, nowadays, recently I've seen just a software which was solving a very, very complex object recognition task, and the whole thing was 7 lines. 7.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, in 7 lines, you can imagine right now in 7 lines, you can do it as well. Of course, if you don't understand it, you will just copy blindly from the internet those 7 lines, and you can have it executed in Python, and you can be happy that you will see some very interesting results. However, if I'm gonna ask you can you change it or can you improve it, most probably I'm not gonna be able to do that. So that's the impediment when you are using third-party software, so such as these APIs and so on and so on.
Wow, wow. It's so true. It's so true. And just, I mean, hearing you talk about it gets me excited because, it really, the future of programming, the future of computer science is actually, to a degree, based on what I've been looking at, and you probably have seen that it's being automated. And engineers are even being empowered to be more creative thinkers and use open source languages or different languages to get the job done in a shorter amount of time. And and one of the things that really interests me, as a business leader and as a technologist myself, is this rise of low code applications that are helping people become comfortable with kind of back end coding, but in the simplest way, right? And I think a lot of students have an opportunity to even start projects using those kind of new formats, and then diving deep to get more advanced.
So normally, just to have a code which is running, this kind of attitude that here is an API, there is another API, let's call this function, let's call that function, it's gonna work. But that's not sufficient if you want to build professional software. So that might be good at this entry level, but once you go for a large company, they need that depth. So do you understand properly why this is happening? Or if something is happening, can you explain it why it's happening? So that's not sufficient if you just know an API or another. But again, if you have those APIs, you can build software very, very fast. And that's also important, right? Because we don't want to spend right now time and money on somebody to build something which was already built by others. So why not reuse them? Okay, so let's not reinvent the wheel again and again. So that's true. But that's my impression, what I'm seeing with my students at least, that some of them, they just scratch the surface, and that's why they cannot go deeper, because they just want to use these APIs and get the job done. Which I would say in some cases it might be the way to go with, but usually on the long run is not going to pay off this kind of APIs. So you have to understand, and that's what I'm saying. The students right now, you have your time in the college or university, and spend that time to build software on your own. On your professional career, you will have enough time to use APIs, but understand the basics, familiar how things are happening in computer science, and after that, you can still use APIs whenever you like.
Wow, I love it, Dr. Szilard. Thank you so much for joining us today, and really being I'm inspired actually to be honest with you, because for me, I always wished I had professors early on in my career who actually gave me a lot of the practical tips and takeaways that you're sharing now with our community and our audience. And it's so important too, because there's so many people who are looking to job transition given these times of COVID-19, or looking for new roles and opportunities, that need to understand that, look, you can still go to Central Washington University, talk to Dr. Szilard, and he can help you out, right? Like he can work with you and get you started.
Yeah, we are trying our best, and definitely if we have these kind of all kind of projects, so where students they can work. So normally whenever somebody's joining, they can work on different projects. We have a robotics lab, for example, where we can build some software for some humanoid robots and drones and whatnot. So we have some how this called this brain computer interface. So if you have a you can communicate via brain signals. Okay, so we have a lot of things which we can offer.
Wow.
So that, yeah, so it's but in order to build those softwares, you have to have your basics very, very well funded. And once you have that one, definitely you can. Right now, the imagination can go wherever you want. So that's why you can build all kind of softwares.
I love it, Professor. And right now, it was so exciting. I love that you said brain computer machine interface, because that's actually going to be a huge area, I think, in the next 7 to 10 years. And I'm actually starting to see brain computer human interface platforms come to fruition and come to market, and are really quite user friendly, and they are developing. They're developed based on APIs and platform level technology, and are actually giving young students the opportunity to build on top of the product and the platform. So, it's so interesting. If you're listening to this right now and you're trying to understand where's the next, where's computer science going, deep tech is rising. And, universities and doctors like Dr. Szilard can really support you in really understanding, where do you want to start and how do you want to start? And these are the things that we have at Central Washington University. Doctor, where else can the people who are listening and tuning in, where can they follow your work and follow the movement that you're leading as a professor?
Normally, I have a website, and I'm posting their things. So, for example, I have all my former projects. Okay, I have some videos from YouTube. Okay, where we are presenting our work. You can see a bunch of applications from robots. For example, right now, because the university is one thing, but we want to reach out to the community. And recently, we helped out two companies here in Ellensburg, in Washington, to build their own kind of Uber app. Okay, so normally, right now they have their own software which you can download and you can call for a taxi. And definitely here that's a small community, but we are helping them as much as we can. Okay, or we did for some students some Alexa skill development. So if you have an Alexa device in your room. Sorry, Alexa. My Alexa just started. Alexa.
It happened.
Yeah. And so normally normally when Alexa, stop. Yeah. And so you can see that technology is killing you if it's too much. And for example, if you have a question about your next class, you don't know when it's going to be your next class, you just ask the device and it's going to answer you that, okay, your next class starts at, I don't know, at 2 p.m. in whatever building.
Wow.
So we build these kind of solutions, and we are trying to do more and more in this respect. Because one thing is to do good things, but how about helping the community even more? So, and those guys, they are really, really small companies. They cannot afford some very, very professional company to develop their own Uber software.
Mm.
But with this kind of solutions, we help them, and it was really challenging for us as well. And here it is. So that's what we are doing.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Szilard, for coming on the show and really blessing us with your wisdom and your insights on what's going on. You know, we need to have you on for a future episode. It's been actually a joy talking with you.
I'm more than happy if I can.
And hopefully it's with, you know, a few Central Washington University students, maybe, you know, showing they can demo some of the projects that they've worked on for maybe this spring semester with our community. What do you think?
Yeah. So normally we can do that. Why not?
Let's do it.
So we have quite a few projects this year too. These are the so-called capstone project. So
Wow.
maybe we can demo one live, or if not, at least we can provide you a YouTube video where it's demoed live. That kind of software. Why not? Yeah. So that's why we are here.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Doctor. And, you know, please check him out. I'm going to be sharing his links on here. And, Doctor, please keep on being abundant, keep on being awesome and changing lives.
Thank you very much for having me. And hopefully we can meet next time.
Let's do it. Sounds good, Doctor. Be well.
Have a good time.
You too. And that was Dr. Szilard on the show. Man, what a positive guy. What an awesome guy. You know, we have a LinkedIn user that says helping the community, small business with technology solutions is absolutely awesome. More technologists should be doing this. Thanks from the least technical person on this call, Kersia Beckwith. Hey, Kersia, thank you so much for tuning in. And I agree. I think it's really important that we do things of that nature, especially as technology continues to be more prevalent within communities of color, underrepresented communities, and just a fabric of your identity and life. And, you know, for us at God, that's why it's really important that we work with universities and we just fundamentally educate, right? And we do a lot through our podcasting, our own socials on Twitter, and just as our culture. So I completely agree with you, Kersia. You have to do that. It's really, really, really important because there's still people who don't have access to digital technology, and they live in the U.S. and they live in digital scarce areas. And I think that people don't often realize that when it comes to technology. So shout out to you, Kersia, for recognizing that. With that said, make sure to go check out bigblacktea.com. We are literally still selling out, and we are repackaging and restocking, and we are making sure that we get it to our amazing community of members who keep on literally reaching out to me through our DMs and also to our entire team for more tea. Shout out to the guys at the Smoothification Experience. Thank you all so much for this amazing playlist. I literally jam it every single day. Shout out to our boys at the Smoothification Experience. Please check out their podcast, the Smoothification Experience team. Check out their podcast, Too Many Cups of BBT, Volume 1. Also, check out BBT. They also have another one. It's actually wild. Big Black Tea, Harmony, Volume 1. They have Big Black Tea Zen playlist, Volume 1. And they're coming out with more volumes. So much love to our homies at the Smoothification Experience, the masters of smooth themselves. Shout out to y'all. With that said, please sign up for our waitlist. We are currently doing things to make sure we refresh our website for this new millennium that we're living in. You know, pre-COVID-19, life was crazy. Post-COVID-19, life is still crazy. But we move we still move. So with that said, please check out guidegroup.com to learn a little bit more about what we're doing. Our guideapp.co link still links back to guidegroup.com, and we are working on things to make sure that we continue to take everything one day at a time, and better yet, serve our customers, serve our members, and really lead an amazing movement. So make sure you check out guidegroup.com. Once again, y'all, get you some tea, some big black tea. Sip it in peace. Sip it with your fam. Sip it with your baby. Sip it with your girlfriends. You know, thank y'all so much for reaching out to me and letting me know how much you all love the tea and, you know, the peace that it's creating in your lives. I think it's really important, actually. And in fact, we recently just talked with a really great friend of ours, of the team at Guide, Anthony Ware. He is Mr. Mental Wealth. Check him out. He's leading an amazing movement. In fact, I'm going to link out his stuff in the comments. Check him out. He's actually not been on the podcast. We have to get him on the podcast in the future, but he's been a longtime friend of our team, our company, and just what we've been doing. So we want to show him some love. Check out what he's doing with Mental Wealth. Anthony, check out Anthony, okay? And we will link him out in the comments. Please check him out. He's one of our great friends, and we love what he's doing in terms of this movement around mental wealth and taking care of your holistic health. And obviously, you all know tea helps with that, because it helps with that for me. All right, so make sure you check it out. In addition to that, my best friend just ordered the tea yesterday. Thank you, Garcia. We're so happy about that. We love that. Thank you so much. We love that. Oh my goodness. Tell her to take a picture so I can show her some love. Tell her to take a picture. We will show her mad love on the gram and everywhere else where we have our socials. With that said, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I am not going to leave y'all out cold. I try not to do that anymore, because I think it's really important that y'all jam out this playlist by the Smoothication Experience team. All right, let's go. This is my favorite song on this playlist, by the way. Okay? Yeah.
You called and told me you wanted to leave, but it seems that you don't want to leave me. Listen, we were so happy together when we first met. Oh, but we started acting crazy. Oh baby, what's happening? All my love is what I'm doing. You want games, well I'm not playing. Let me know if you want to leave. Baby, please don't call me with your lies. I don't wanna hear it, baby. No, but it seems I'm sorry that you're feeling this way. You know I'm not the blame. No. But that you keep on running and playing those simple games. Oh, leaving me, treating me. No. Let me know. But baby, please stop calling me with your love. You call me and tell me, but it's that you don't really want me. We still on stage. I don't ever want to leave. Leaving me, oh yeah, let go, mistreating me. No, let me know. And I know you won't leave me, girl. You believe me, baby. You called me and you told me that you wanted me. Be your man. And you told me, be with me. It seems that you don't want to leave me, baby. I love it. I love the way you talk. Ooh, yeah, baby. I love the way you move. You love the way you move, baby. Listen, I love the way you move your sexy body. I love the way you move your body, honey. Just come here closer, lean next to me, so me and you can be happy.